Admiral Lee Min-jun stood in the command center of Terra Station, looking at the massive display screen. Red dots filled the edge of the solar system. Each dot was an alien warship. There were 3,000 of them. "How long do we have?" asked General Park Soo-jin, stepping up beside him. 72 hours, Lee Min-jun replied. His voice was calm, but his hands were tight behind his back. Then they start shooting. The message from the aliens had arrived 6 hours ago. The galactic hegemony demanded Earth's complete surrender. They wanted all humans to stop building colonies on new worlds. They wanted Earth to become part of their empire. They wanted humanity to bow down and obey. "Their ships are huge," said Dr. Seo Hae-won, the lead scientist on the Defense Council. She pointed at the screen. "Each one is 10 times bigger than our largest ship. Their weapons could turn our cities to dust." The aliens called themselves the Galactic Hegemony. They had ruled most of the galaxy for thousands of years. They had conquered 10,000 worlds. No species had ever said no to them and survived. "Look at this," said Commander Kim Ye-jin, pulling up another screen. "They sent us information about their past victories. Planet after planet. All destroyed or captured. They want us to see what happens when someone fights them." The images were terrible. Burned worlds. Empty cities. Species that had tried to resist and failed. The message was clear. Surrender or die. "We have 47 ships in our defense fleet," General Park said. "They have 3,000. The math is not good." Lee Min-jun nodded. The Earth defense fleet was strong, but not that strong. Each human ship carried the best weapons and shields that Earth could build. But 47 ships against 3,000 was not a fight. It was suicide. "What about the colonies?" asked Dr. Seo. "New Beijing, New Seoul, the mining stations?" "The aliens know about all of them," Commander Kim replied. "They have been watching us for months, maybe years. They know where every human settlement is located." The room went quiet. Everyone understood what that meant. If Earth surrendered, the aliens would still control all the human colonies. If Earth fought and lost, the aliens would destroy everything. Either way, human expansion into space was over. "There might be another option," Lee Min-jun said slowly. Everyone turned to look at him. The Admiral walked to a secure terminal and entered his personal code. A new display appeared. It showed different numbers, different ship counts. "What is that?" General Park asked. "Project Hidden Thunder," Lee Min-jun replied. "For the past 5 years, we have been building a second fleet. A secret fleet." Dr. Seo stepped closer to the screen. "Those numbers can't be right. It shows we have over 50 additional ships." 57 ships, the Admiral confirmed. All hidden in the asteroid belt. All invisible to alien sensors. All ready to fight. The others stared at him. Commander Kim was the first to speak. "How is that possible? Where did we get the resources? The people?" Lee Min-jun smiled for the first time that day. "Do you remember the asteroid mining program? All those robots we sent out to dig for metals and rare earth elements?" "Of course," Dr. Seo said. "It's been our biggest industrial project for years." "The mining was real," the Admiral continued. "But we used the materials for more than just trade goods. We built shipyards inside the largest asteroids. We trained crews in secret. We developed new weapons that the aliens have never seen before." General Park looked at the numbers again. "Even with 57 more ships, we are still outnumbered 6-1. "Numbers are not everything," Lee Min-jun replied. "The aliens think they know our technology. They have been watching our regular fleet for months. But they have never seen our hidden ships. They have never seen our new weapons." He pulled up technical specifications. The hidden fleet ships looked different from regular Earth vessels. They were smaller, faster, and covered in strange materials. "These ships don't show up on normal sensors," the Admiral explained. The hull coating absorbs scanning beams. The engines run almost silent. Each ship can hide inside an asteroid and launch surprise attacks. What about weapons? Commander Kim asked. Lee Minjun's smile grew wider. The aliens use energy weapons, plasma cannons, particle beams, laser arrays. Their shields are designed to stop energy attacks. But our hidden fleet doesn't use energy weapons. Then what do they use? Dr. Seo asked. Kinetic weapons, railguns that fire solid metal projectiles at incredible speeds. The aliens have never faced anything like them. Their energy shields won't stop a tungsten rod moving at 15% of light speed. The room was silent as everyone processed this information. Finally, General Park spoke. You're talking about starting a war with the most powerful empire in the galaxy. They started the war when they threatened to destroy Earth, Lee Minjun replied. We're just going to finish it. Dr. Seo looked worried. What if we lose? What if our secret weapons don't work? Then we die fighting instead of living as slaves, the Admiral said simply. But I don't think we will lose. The aliens are powerful, but they are also predictable. They have conquered so many worlds that they think every species will react the same way. They expect us to surrender or die trying with our regular fleet. Commander Kim studied the tactical display. They won't expect an attack from the asteroid belt. Exactly, Lee Minjun confirmed. They think our entire fleet is here, protecting Earth. They don't know about the ships hiding in the rocks, waiting for the right moment to strike. The Admiral looked at each of his officers. In 72 hours, the aliens will move forward to attack Earth. They will expect us to fight with 47 ships and lose quickly. Instead, they will face over 100 ships with weapons they have never encountered before. General Park straightened her shoulders. When do we deploy the hidden fleet? The ships are already moving into position, Lee Minjun replied. By tomorrow, they will surround the alien formation. The Galactic Hegemony wanted Earth's surrender. Instead, they're going to get humanity's answer written in tungsten and steel. The red dots on the display seemed less threatening now. 3,000 alien ships were still a massive force. But they were about to learn something new about humanity. When cornered, humans didn't surrender. They fought back with everything they had, including weapons their enemies never saw coming. Captain Park Soo-jin floated in the command chair of the warship Indomitable, watching her crew make final preparations. Around her, the asteroid known as Mining Station 7 looked like any other space rock. But inside its hollowed core sat one of humanity's most advanced warships. Status report, she called out. All systems green, Captain, replied Lieutenant Kim Ye-jin from the weapons station. Railgun is charged and ready. Kinetic projectiles loaded. Navigation shows optimal firing position in 6 hours, added Ensign Lee Min-ho from his console. The alien fleet is moving exactly where Admiral Lee predicted. Park Soo-jin nodded. For 2 days, they had waited inside this fake asteroid while the Galactic Hegemony fleet positioned itself around Earth. The aliens thought they were being clever, surrounding humanity's homeworld with overwhelming force. They had no idea that 57 human warships were already surrounding them. The captain activated her communication system. Hidden Thunder Command. This is Indomitable. Report status. Thunder Leader to all Thunder ships, came Admiral Lee Min-jun's voice over the secure channel. Sound off by squadron. Thunder 2 Squadron. All ships ready. Thunder 3 Squadron. Weapons hot and ready to engage. Thunder 4 Squadron. Standing by. 4. Attack order. The voices continued until all 57 ships had reported. Each ship was hidden inside a carefully prepared asteroid. Each crew had trained for years for this moment. Each vessel carried weapons that the galaxy had never seen before. Attention Thunder Fleet. Admiral Lee's voice carried across the communication network. In 4 hours, the aliens will demand Earth's final surrender. When they do, we will give them humanity's real answer. Park Soo-jin smiled grimly. The Galactic Hegemony thought they knew everything about human technology. Their spy satellites had observed Earth's regular defense fleet for months. They had studied human ship designs, weapon systems, and tactical procedures. They were confident they could defeat humanity easily. But the regular fleet was just for show. The real fleet had been built in secret over 5 years. While the aliens watched Earth's orbital shipyards build obvious military vessels, humanity's true industrial might was hidden in the asteroid belt. "Captain," Lieutenant Kim called out, "I'm receiving intelligence updates from the scout drones." Park Soo-jin reviewed the data on her personal screen. The alien fleet was massive beyond belief. Each hegemony ship was 10 times larger than a human vessel. Their weapons could destroy cities with single shots. Their shields could absorb incredible amounts of energy. "Look at those defensive systems," Ensign Lee commented, studying the same data. "Energy barriers, plasma deflectors, particle beam dispersal fields. They can stop any energy weapon we have." "Good thing we're not using energy weapons," the captain replied. The Indomitable carried no plasma cannons or laser arrays. Instead, its primary weapon was a railgun that ran the entire length of the ship. Magnetic coils accelerated solid tungsten projectiles to 15% of light speed. At that velocity, a small metal rod carried more destructive power than most nuclear weapons. "Captain, we're receiving a priority message from Thunder Command," reported Communications Officer Dr. Seo Heyman. The main screen displayed Admiral Lee Min-jun speaking from his hidden command ship. "All Thunder vessels. The aliens have just transmitted their final ultimatum to Earth. They are giving us 1 hour to surrender unconditionally. After that, they will begin orbital bombardment." Park Soo-jin felt her crew tense around her. This was it. 5 years of preparation were about to be tested in battle. "Thunder Fleet will commence Operation Blindside in 30 minutes, the Admiral continued. "Target priority is command ships first, then heavy weapons platforms, then troop transports. Remember, our railguns punch through their shields like they don't exist. But their return fire can still kill us if we let them get a lock." The connection ended. Park Soo-jin turned to address her crew. "You heard the Admiral. In 30 minutes, we reveal ourselves and attack the largest fleet in galactic history. Everyone knows their job. Execute with precision." Around the bridge, her officers ran final system checks. The Indomitable had been Park Soo-jin's home for 3 years. She had overseen its construction inside this asteroid, watched its weapon systems come online, and trained its crew to peak efficiency. "Captain, I'm detecting movement in the alien fleet," reported sensor specialist Jung-min Seo. "The big ships are moving forward. They're preparing to attack Earth." "Right on schedule," Park Soo-jin observed. "The aliens are nothing if not predictable. The Galactic Hegemony had conquered thousands of worlds using the same basic strategy. Arrive with overwhelming force. Demand surrender. Then destroy any resistance quickly and brutally. It had worked for them for millennia. 15 minutes to attack," Lieutenant Kim announced. Park Soo-jin activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the captain. In 15 minutes, we will drop our asteroid camouflage and engage the enemy. This is the moment we trained for. This is why we built these ships in secret. Today, humanity shows the galaxy that we bow to no one." She paused, thinking about Earth far below, about the colonies scattered across human space, about the families depending on her crew to succeed. "The aliens think they know us," she continued. "They think we're just another primitive species to be conquered and enslaved. They're about to learn the truth. When humans are threatened, we don't surrender. We fight back with everything we have. And today, we have weapons they can't even imagine." The crew responded with quiet determination. No cheers or battle cries, just professional focus on the task ahead. 5 minutes to attack," Lieutenant Kim called out. Park Soo-jin watched the tactical display as the alien fleet continued its approach to Earth. 3,000 massive warships, armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy, crewed by species that had never known defeat. "Captain, all Thunderships are reporting ready," Dr. Seo announced. "Thunder command to all vessels." Admiral Lee's voice came over the communication network. "Prepare to drop camouflage. Target selection is confirmed. Attack begins in 60 seconds. 1. Park Soo-jin gripped her command chair. "All hands, prepare for combat. Drop asteroid camouflage on my mark." The countdown reached 0. Mark. Around the solar system, 57 asteroids suddenly split open, like flowers blooming in space. Human warships emerged from their hiding places, railguns already tracking their targets. The galactic hegemony had come to conquer Earth. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by an enemy they never knew existed, armed with weapons their shields couldn't stop, commanded by a species that preferred death to surrender. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Zarthek the Conqueror stood on the command bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His 6 eyes studied the tactical displays with satisfaction. 3,000 hegemony warships surrounded the primitive human world. Victory would come within hours. "Status of the human fleet?" he asked his weapons officer. 47 vessels holding defensive positions around their planet, came the reply. Crude chemical propulsion, basic energy weapons, simple armor plating. They pose no significant threat. Zarthek's mouth opened in what his species considered a smile. In his 800 years of military service, he had conquered 127 worlds. The humans would be number 128. Their ships looked pathetic compared to hegemony technology. "Open a communication channel to the human leadership," he ordered. A human face appeared on the main screen. The alien recognized him from intelligence reports. Admiral Lee Min-jun, commander of Earth's defense forces. The human looked calm, despite facing impossible odds. "Admiral Zarthek," Lee Min-jun said politely, "I assume you're calling to discuss our surrender." "There is nothing to discuss," Zarthek replied with contempt. "You have one final opportunity to save your species. Order all human ships to power down their weapons and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your world." The human admiral was quiet for several seconds. Then he spoke with surprising confidence. "I have a counter-proposal. Zarthek, withdraw your fleet from our solar system immediately. Return to hegemony space and never threaten humanity again." Zarthek's subordinates made sounds of amusement. The human's audacity was almost entertaining. "You command 47 primitive ships against my 3,000 vessels of the line," Zarthek said. "Your weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Your armor cannot withstand our plasma cannons. What possible reason could I have to withdraw?" "What possible reason?" "Because you're not facing 47 ships," Lee Min-jun replied calmly. "You're facing 104 ships. And our weapons are not what you think they are." Before Zarthek could respond, his sensor operator called out in alarm. "Admiral! New contacts appearing throughout the system. Ships are materializing from the asteroid belt." The tactical display changed dramatically. Red dots appeared everywhere as human vessels dropped their camouflage. They had been hiding inside asteroids, invisible to hegemony sensors. Worse, they were already in optimal attack positions. "Impossible," Zarthek growled. "Our intelligence confirmed only 47 human ships exist." "Your intelligence was wrong," Admiral Lee's voice came from the communication channel. "Just like your assumption that we would surrender. Fire." The word was barely spoken when space lit up with tungsten death. Captain Park Soo-jin watched her railgun fire its first shot. The tungsten projectile, accelerated to 15% of light speed, crossed the distance to its target in seconds. The hegemony cruiser's energy shields flared briefly, then collapsed as the solid metal rod punched through them like paper. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash. "Direct hit," Lieutenant Kim shouted. "Target destroyed." All around the solar system, similar scenes played out as the Thunder Fleet opened fire. Human railguns sent tungsten projectiles screaming across space at relativistic speeds. Alien shields, designed to stop energy weapons, proved useless against solid matter moving at such incredible velocity. "Reload and fire again," Park Soo-jin ordered. "Target the next cruiser in line." On the Eternal Dominion's bridge, chaos erupted as damage reports flooded in. 17 ships destroyed in the first volley, the tactical officer reported. Energy readings indicate kinetic weapons, not plasma or particle beams. Zarthek stared at the tactical display in disbelief. 17 of his finest warships had been destroyed in seconds. The humans were using solid projectiles instead of energy weapons. No wonder their attacks punched through hegemony shields. "Return fire," he roared. "Target those hidden ships." "We're trying, Admiral. But their vessels are much smaller than anticipated. They're hard to target, and they're moving in unpredictable patterns." The hegemony fleet began firing back, but their massive energy weapons were designed for large targets. The human ships were small, fast, and darted between asteroids like insects. Many alien shots missed completely. Meanwhile, the human railguns continued their deadly work. Each shot destroyed or crippled a hegemony vessel. The aliens had never faced weapons that moved so fast or hit so hard. "Admiral," Captain Park Soo-jin's communication officer called out. "We're receiving a priority message from Admiral Lee." Lee Min-jun's image appeared on her screen. Behind him, she could see the controlled chaos of a command center in battle. "All Thunder ships, execute attack pattern Gamma. Target their command ships and heavy weapons platforms. Let's end this quickly." Park Soo-jin acknowledged the order and turned to her crew. "You heard the Admiral. Weapons. Target that big ship in the center of their formation. That has to be their flagship." Lieutenant Kim checked his targeting computer. "Flagship confirmed. Distance 12,000 kilometers. Solution locked. Fire." The Indomitable's railgun spoke again. This time, the tungsten projectile was aimed at the Eternal Dominion itself. On the flagship's bridge, Zarthek watched in horror as the human projectile approached. His point defense systems tried to intercept it, but nothing could stop something moving that fast. The tungsten rod struck the Eternal Dominion amidships, tearing through armor, decks, and crew compartments. The massive ship shuddered under the impact. Emergency alarms blared as atmosphere vented into space. "Damage report," Zarthek demanded. "Hull breach on decks 15 through 22. Engineering reports power loss to main weapons. We're venting atmosphere." Another human projectile struck the ship's command tower. This time, the flagship's main communication array exploded, cutting it off from the rest of the fleet. Around the solar system, the battle continued to rage. But it was not the glorious conquest Zarthek had expected. His massive fleet was being torn apart by weapons they had never encountered, fired by ships they had not known existed. "Admiral," his tactical officer called out, "we've lost over 300 ships. The humans are destroying us faster than we can return fire." Zarthek looked at the tactical display with growing despair. His magnificent fleet, the pride of the hegemony military, was being massacred. The humans were not fighting fair. They were using impossible weapons and impossible tactics. "How many human ships have we destroyed?" he asked. 7 confirmed kills, Admiral. Maybe 12 more damaged. 7 ships. The hegemony had lost 300 vessels and had only managed to destroy 7 human ships in return. This was not a battle. This was a slaughter. "Sir," the communication officer announced, "we're receiving another transmission from the human commander. Well day. Well day." Admiral Lee Min-jun appeared on the screen again. His uniform was still neat, his expression still calm. He looked like a man winning an easy victory. "Admiral Zarthek," Lee said politely. I'm offering you one chance to save what remains of your fleet. Order your ships to retreat immediately. Those that attempt to continue the attack will be destroyed. Zarthek's pride warred with his survival instincts. He had never retreated from battle in 800 years of military service, but he had also never faced an enemy like this. You cannot defeat the entire hegemony, he said desperately. This is just one fleet. Others will come. Let them come, Admiral Lee replied. They will receive the same welcome you did. Humanity does not surrender, Zarthek. We fight. And as you can see, we fight very well. The human admiral's image disappeared from the screen. Around the flagship, tungsten death continued to rain down on the hegemony fleet. Zarthek looked at his surviving officers. For the first time in his long military career, he gave the order he had never thought he would speak. Signal all ships, he said quietly. Begin emergency retreat. Commander Kim Ye-jin floated among the wreckage of what had been the most powerful fleet in galactic history. Her ship, the Relentless, moved slowly through the debris field, scanning for survivors and salvageable technology. Final casualty report, Commander. Her tactical officer announced. Hegemony losses. 2,812 ships destroyed. 188 ships retreated to hyperspace. Human losses. 9 ships destroyed. 15 ships damaged but repairable. Kim stared at the numbers on her screen. In 3 hours of battle, humanity had destroyed the largest invasion fleet in recorded galactic history. The cost ratio was almost unbelievable. Over 300 alien ships destroyed for every human vessel lost. Any word from the retreating ships? She asked. They jumped to hyperspace 6 hours ago, came the reply. Long-range sensors show they're heading straight back to hegemony core worlds. They're not stopping to regroup. 17-2. Long-range sensors wide. Kim nodded. That was exactly what Admiral Lee had wanted. The survivors would carry news of humanity's victory to every corner of the galaxy. Within weeks, every species would know that the mighty galactic hegemony had been defeated by a race they had considered primitive. Commander, we're receiving a priority communication from Earth Command, her communication officer reported. Admiral Lee Min-jun's image appeared on the main screen. Behind him, Kim could see the controlled celebration happening in Terra Station's command center. Officers moved with professional efficiency, but their faces showed barely contained excitement. Attention all Thunderfleet vessels, Admiral Lee announced. Congratulations on a perfect execution of Operation Blindside. You have achieved something no military force has accomplished in galactic history. The complete defeat of a hegemony invasion fleet. Kim felt pride swell in her chest. For 5 years, she had helped build this secret fleet. For 3 years, she had trained her crew for this exact moment. The victory belonged to every human who had worked in secret to make it possible. However, Admiral Lee continued, our work is not finished. We have won the first battle, but we must now prepare for the consequences of our victory. Commander Kim, begin salvage operations immediately. I want every piece of hegemony technology recovered and analyzed. The transmission ended. Kim turned to her crew with renewed energy. You heard the Admiral. Begin full salvage operations. I want boarding teams on every intact alien ship. Collect their computers, their weapons, their navigation data, everything. Over the next several hours, human teams swarmed through the wreckage. They found incredible technology, energy weapons far more advanced than anything Earth possessed. Shield generators that could protect entire cities, faster than light communication systems that operated across galactic distances. But most importantly, they found something else. Commander! Her intelligence officer called out excitedly. You need to see this. We've cracked the flagship's computer core. Kim moved to the intelligence station and looked at the translated alien text scrolling across the screen. What she read made her eyes widen. Is this accurate? She asked. Confirmed, Commander. The hegemony's complete military organization, fleet positions, technological specifications, and political structure. Everything is here. Kim quickly activated a secure communication channel to Admiral Lee. Thunder Command. This is relentless. We have recovered complete intelligence on hegemony military capabilities. Excellent work, Commander. Transmit everything to Earth immediately. And Kim? Prepare for company. Our victory has been noticed. Company, sir? Long-range sensors are detecting ships approaching from multiple directions, not hegemony vessels. These are from other species. Word of our victory is spreading fast. Kim felt a chill run down her spine. The battle with the hegemony was over, but its consequences were just beginning. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy in the most dramatic way possible. Now other species wanted to meet the upstarts who had accomplished the impossible. 3 days later, the first alien ambassadors arrived at Earth. They came not as conquerors, but as potential allies. The Zephyrian Republic sent a diplomatic mission. The Free Worlds Alliance dispatched their fastest courier ships. Even species that had never communicated with other races suddenly found reasons to contact humanity. Dr. Seo-Hae-Won stood in the newly established diplomatic reception center, watching alien representatives file into what had once been a simple conference room. Each species was different. Some tall and thin, others short and broad, some breathing oxygen, while others required special atmosphere suits. Dr. Seo, Admiral Lee, said quietly beside her. These beings represent over 40 different species. Some have been fighting the hegemony for centuries. Others have been forced tributaries paying taxes to avoid conquest. All of them want to know the same thing. Oh, which is how we defeated an undefeatable enemy, and whether we're willing to share that knowledge. The meeting began with formal presentations. Each species described their history with the galactic hegemony: worlds conquered, populations enslaved, resources stolen. The pattern was always the same. The hegemony would arrive with overwhelming force, demand surrender, and destroy any resistance. Until now. Honored humans, said Ambassador Vextar of the Zephyrian Republic. Our species has fought the hegemony for 300 years. We have never achieved a victory like yours. Our intelligence networks report that you destroyed their entire invasion fleet while suffering minimal losses. This should be impossible. Dr. Seo exchanged glances with Admiral Lee, then stood to address the gathered aliens. Our victory was possible because we approached the problem differently. The hegemony has used the same tactics for thousands of years. We studied their methods and developed counters specifically designed to exploit their weaknesses. But your technology, interrupted Ambassador Kree-Lon of the Stellar Confederation. Our sensors detected kinetic weapons moving at relativistic speeds. No known species possesses such capabilities. No known species has needed such capabilities. Admiral Lee replied smoothly. The hegemony's energy shields are nearly perfect against energy weapons. So, we stopped using energy weapons. The alien ambassadors looked at each other with expressions that Kim had learned to recognize as amazement. These species had spent centuries trying to build better plasma cannons to penetrate hegemony shields. Humanity had simply built different weapons entirely. We have a proposal, Doctor, Seo announced. The galactic hegemony has oppressed free species for too long. Humanity is willing to share our defensive technologies with any species committed to ending hegemony expansion. Under Lexlast, Ender, Lexide. The room erupted in excited alien chatter. Several ambassadors immediately began composing messages to send to their home worlds. However, Admiral Lee added, raising his voice to restore order, we have conditions. Any species requesting our military technology must agree to a mutual defense pact. If the hegemony attacks one of us, they attack all of us. If they threaten human colonies, they threaten all our allies. Ambassador Vextar was the first to respond. The Zephyrian Republic agrees to these terms. We have waited 3 centuries for an opportunity to strike back at our oppressors. "The Free Worlds Alliance accepts," declared another ambassador. One by one, the alien representatives agreed to humanity's proposal. Within hours, Earth had gone from an isolated world facing conquest to the center of a growing alliance dedicated to ending hegemony dominance. As the meeting concluded, Kim watched the alien ambassadors file out of the conference room. Their body language showed excitement, hope, and determination. For the first time in galactic history, the oppressed species had hope of victory. "Commander," Admiral Lee said quietly beside her, "begin immediate production of additional Thunderfleet vessels. Something tells me we're going to need them soon." Kim nodded. The battle at Earth had been humanity's introduction to galactic warfare. But it was only the beginning. The hegemony would not accept defeat quietly. They would return with larger fleets, better tactics, and desperate fury. When they did, they would find not just humanity waiting for them, but an entire alliance of species, armed with weapons that could punch through any defense and united by a common desire for freedom. The galaxy was about to change in ways no one could predict. Dr. HFY War stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic ship New Harmony, watching the hegemony capital world grow larger through the reinforced windows. 6 months had passed since the Battle of Earth, and the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. "Still hard to believe we're here," said Admiral Lee Min-jun, joining her at the viewing window. 6 months ago, they wanted to destroy us. Now they're begging for peace talks. The capital world of Hegemony Prime looked exactly as Dr. Seo had imagined: massive cities covering entire continents, orbital stations that could house millions of beings, and defensive platforms that had once been considered impregnable. But now she knew the truth. All that defensive technology was designed to stop energy weapons. Human kinetic weapons would tear through it like tissue paper. "The escort fleet is impressive," observed Captain Park Soo-jin from behind them. Through the windows, they could see 24 human warships maintaining formation around the diplomatic vessel. Each ship was equipped with the railgun technology that had shocked the galaxy. "Impressive to us," Admiral Lee replied. "To the hegemony, it's terrifying. They know each of those ships can destroy a dozen of their vessels." The past 6 months had been a whirlwind of activity. News of humanity's victory had spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Species that had been oppressed by the hegemony for centuries suddenly found hope. The Free Species Alliance, as it had come to be known, now included over 60 different races, united under human leadership. More importantly, humanity had shared its kinetic weapon technology with key allies. Zephyrian ships now carried human-designed railguns. Free Worlds Alliance vessels had been retrofitted with tungsten projectile systems. Even smaller species had received defensive technologies that made them immune to traditional hegemony attacks. The result had been predictable. Hegemony fleets faced rebellions on dozens of worlds. Their expansion had stopped completely as they recalled ships to defend core territories. For the first time in galactic history, the mighty empire was in retreat. Dr. Seo called Commander Kim Ye-jin from the bridge. "We're receiving a communication from the hegemony leadership. They're requesting permission to begin formal negotiations." Dr. Seo straightened her diplomatic uniform and walked to the communication station. The main screen activated, showing a being she recognized from intelligence files: High Chancellor Mordick, Supreme Leader of the Galactic Hegemony. The alien looked older than his pictures suggested. The stress of 6 months of military defeats had clearly taken its toll. Behind him, she could see other hegemony officials looking equally worn down. "Dr. HFY War," the Chancellor said with careful politeness. "On behalf of the Galactic Hegemony, I welcome you to our capital world. Eager to begin discussions that will benefit both our peoples." Dr. Seo smiled professionally. 6 months ago, this same being had ordered humanity's complete surrender. Now, he was greeting her as an equal, perhaps even as a superior. "Chancellor Mordick," she replied. Humanity appreciates your willingness to negotiate. We hope these talks will establish a lasting peace between our species. The formal reception took place in the hegemony's Grand Assembly Chamber, a massive hall that could hold representatives from thousands of worlds. But today, it felt almost empty, with just two small groups facing each other across a negotiating table. Dr. CO led the human delegation, supported by Admiral Lee and Captain Park. Across from them sat Chancellor Mordek and his senior advisors. The contrast was striking. The humans looked confident and relaxed, while the hegemony officials seemed nervous and uncertain. "Let me be direct," Chancellor Mordek began. "The hegemony faces challenges on multiple fronts. Our subject worlds are in rebellion. Our fleets suffer defeats daily. Our traditional methods of maintaining order have proven insufficient against your kinetic weapons." Admiral Lee leaned forward slightly. "What exactly are you proposing, Chancellor?" "A ceasefire. Immediate cessation of hostilities between hegemony forces and the Free Species Alliance. Recognition of current territorial boundaries. Establishment of formal diplomatic relations." Dr. CO exchanged glances with her colleagues. The offer was more generous than they had expected, but she suspected there was more to it. "And in return?" she asked. Chancellor Mordek looked uncomfortable. "The hegemony requests that humanity cease sharing kinetic weapon technology with other species. We also request assurance that human forces will not provide direct military support to rebellious worlds within established hegemony territory." The room fell silent. Dr. CO could see the desperation in the Chancellor's eyes. The mighty empire that had ruled the galaxy for millennia was asking humanity to stop helping its oppressed subjects. "I'm afraid that's not acceptable, Doctor," CO replied calmly. "Humanity's position is simple. Any species that requests our protection will receive it. Any world that desires freedom from hegemony rule will have our support. You cannot defeat the entire hegemony," one of the alien advisors burst out. "We control half the galaxy. Our total fleet numbers in the hundreds of thousands." Captain Park smiled coldly. "Your total fleet is designed to fight energy-based warfare. Every ship you build becomes obsolete the moment it faces our weapons. You can have 1,000,000 ships, Chancellor. They won't save you." Chancellor Mordek raised a hand to quiet his advisor. "What are your terms?" he asked quietly. Dr. CO activated a holographic display showing a galactic map. Large sections were highlighted in different colors. "Complete withdrawal of hegemony forces from these systems," she began. "Recognition of the Free Species Alliance as a sovereign galactic power. Establishment of neutral zones between hegemony and Alliance space. Reparations to be paid to species damaged by past hegemony aggression." The alien officials stared at the map in shock. Dr. CO was demanding that they give up nearly a third of their territory. "Impossible," Chancellor Mordek said weakly. "The Hegemony Council would never agree to such terms." "Then the war continues," Admiral Lee replied simply. "Our production facilities are completing new kinetic weapon systems daily. Our alliance grows stronger every week. Your empire grows weaker with every battle." Dr. CO leaned forward, her voice becoming more conciliatory. "Chancellor, we're not trying to destroy the hegemony. We simply want to end its expansion and oppression of free species. You can maintain control of your core worlds. You can continue to rule your willing subjects. But the age of galactic conquest is over." Chancellor Mordek was quiet for several minutes, consulting with his advisors in whispered alien languages. Finally, he looked up with an expression of defeat. "The hegemony accepts your terms in principle," he said slowly. "But implementation will require time. Some of our military commanders may not accept immediate withdrawal orders." "We understand, Doctor," CO replied. "Humanity is prepared to assist with enforcing compliance. Any hegemony commander who refuses withdrawal orders will face Free Species Alliance forces equipped with kinetic weapons." The formal signing ceremony took place 1 week later. Representatives from over 100 species gathered in the same chamber where the hegemony had once announced the conquest of entire worlds. Today, they watched as humanity officially became the galaxy's newest major power. As Dr. Seo signed the treaty documents, she reflected on how much had changed. 6 months ago, Earth had faced annihilation. Today, humanity stood as protector of oppressed species across the galaxy. Admiral Lee stood beside her as the ceremony concluded. "What do you think happens next?" he asked quietly. Dr. Seo looked around the chamber at representatives from dozens of former hegemony subject worlds. Their faces showed hope, determination, and gratitude. For the first time in centuries, they could imagine a future free from oppression. "Now we build something better," she replied. The hegemony ruled through fear and force. The Free Species Alliance will succeed through cooperation and mutual protection. Captain Park joined them as they left the ceremony. Intelligence reports that several hegemony commanders are still refusing to withdraw from occupied systems. They think we won't really attack core hegemony territory. Admiral Lee smiled grimly. "Then we'll have to correct that misunderstanding. Signal the fleet. Any hegemony commander who refuses lawful withdrawal orders becomes a target for kinetic bombardment." As the human delegation returned to their ship, Dr. Seo looked out at the stars visible through the observation windows. Somewhere out there, hundreds of worlds were experiencing freedom for the first time in centuries. Other worlds were still waiting for liberation from species that believed might made right. Humanity had come to the stars seeking only room to grow and prosper. Instead, they had become the galaxy's unexpected guardians of freedom. The responsibility was enormous, but so was the opportunity. The galactic hegemony had demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, humanity had given the galaxy something it had almost forgotten: hope for a better future. And that hope was protected by tungsten cord projectiles that could punch through any defense ever built. The age of galactic empire was ending. The age of galactic freedom had begun. And it was written in human steel, moving at 15% of light speed.